93.7 The Ticket veteran and Ortega connoisseur, Jake Bakoven.
I like Ortega, and I like pepper.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Strick and Bob. Hold up.
A very happy Monday afternoon to all of you. This is On the Block. If you don't recognize the voice, there's a good reason for that. Jake Bakoven is still in California. He was enjoying the USC spring game. We'll get a rundown of all of that. Caleb Williams, Lincoln Riley headed over to Southern California. So we'll get a recap from that once he comes back. But Nate Brennan, Nate Doggy Dog, as Strick likes to say, checking in. But Strick is here, the Nebraska Hall of Famer. How you doing, man?
Wonderful. It's a beautiful day to be on the block again.
Is it a beautiful day? I always hate when you tell me what the weather's like. Like I
didn't even say it.
You were about to say it.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't gonna say it because I know that thing kind of irks in some form or way. Hey, but listen, like it's been crazy because like I talked to my friends back in Texas and stuff like that, and they said it's been schizophrenic and everything about me just be like, whew, I avoided the break. But I'll be in, like I said, I'll be up there to join you. Hopefully I'll bring some warmth with me and it'll be a beautiful weekend over the
It's not even the warmth at this point, it's the wind will not stop. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, this is the first time. Well, I was here this time last year, but I just gotten here, kind of getting adjusted to everything. So I've only been here about a year. This wind does not quit. Does it go away, or is it just kind of like a Midwest thing?
I mean, listen, I'm a golfer, so listen. Same. That's the one thing up there in Nebraska that you have to deal with is that's the wind. It's something that we just can't get over, and that's what makes it sometimes can be. Look, winter is not bad for me. I'm okay with winter, but it's the wind. It's that brisk iced tea when it hits you, that bone chiller. That's the thing. I think that's probably we talked about it some quite often on the block, but I think that may be why I chose basketball.
Don't want to
listen. Having to go up and play in Green Bay and places like that, yeah, you're okay in Detroit because you're inside. But you go up there and play in those cold cities like that, bro. You know, Indianapolis is cool and all that, but you know, New York and Green Bay and just all of those, Cincinnati. It's the wind that, for me, when it was in Milwaukee, like I had that experience, and I played in Milwaukee, and I think one night we had we would fly back. You know, sometimes we don't get in until 2-3 in the morning, and they literally never parked our cars outside. They would put them in a hangar because it's just that cold.
Snow?
Not even really the snow. It's just that cold. So your car is sitting, if you're on a road trip, 5-day, 6-day, or 7-day road trip, it's quite cold. So they put them in a hangar and they'll start them up for us. So when we land, when we arrive, they're heated. They're ready to go. There's nothing on them because they've been in a hangar. So, but it's when you step off that plane and you're getting ready to go get your bag, because you kind of got to wait for your bags to, come off the plane. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about that brisk iced tea. That thing, when it hits you, it's that bone chiller. You almost buckle just feeling that wind. And so we would go sit in the car and just, wait till all the bags get out. And then you run out there, grab it, and throw it in the trunk.
Come on back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this then, because you played high school football in Nebraska, right?
Yeah, I did.
What was the coldest game that you played in?
I think we played it was one of those snow, but it wasn't blizzardy, but it was one of those windy, cold, flurries type of snow. Right. And we were playing at South. We had a game at South, and obviously, South wasn't very good. So we was going to win that game. So we're playing in this cold of weather. You can't really even get like overly hyped, and because you knew you were going to just do damage. Cold. And it's so cold. You're okay if you're having a hype game, like if you're playing Creighton Prep or you're playing somebody where it's going to be intense. People are going to be in the stands. It was like it was just our fans and a couple of South fans, and I'm talking about real cold. That was probably one of the coldest. It was probably in the low teens.
Oh my goodness. See, at that point, I'd be like, you know what, guys, I'm good. You know it's going to be a blowout. You guys got it.
Like everybody thinks I'm smart, Nate, but listen, when Cluster Johnson, my best friend, left and he went to Nebraska, I knew that my team, it was really just me left. And so I knew at that point it was going to be now Charles Cleveland, he ended up, emerging and being a really good receiver for them. But I knew that's part of the reason why I think I didn't play my senior year is because I probably would have had to play running back, quarterback, receiver, defensive end, linebacker. And listen, they were going to be focused on me. So it was like, you're going to be taking punishment and you're double teams and then linebackers are looking for you coming over. Yeah, no, I was like, no, I'm good.
I'm good. Let me ask you this. I guess this will be a good kind of segue to tie into this. O'Shawn Mathis, I definitely wanted to hit on him and get your thoughts. But I'll start out by asking you, a guy like that, he's from Texas, played high school football at Texas, played college football at Texas now, entering the transfer portal. Does the weather have any type of impact on his decision? Like,
listen,
as someone from Virginia, I didn't know it got this cold. Like, I thought it was just kind of like a folk tale. Like, it gets pretty cold. Like, this is next level cold. It hurts.
Yeah, it's a hurting type of cold. Listen, I told when I saw that first of all, we'll talk about. I'm sure you'll probably ask me something about that. But when I saw that O'Shawn's broke it down to Texas and Nebraska, listen, I knew there was two components to it. One of them being that his former coach is now coaching there at Texas. That's one good thing. So he has some comfort there. Right. But he hasn't been out big. Listen, you play in the Big 12. Yeah, you may go up to Oklahoma. You may do. You go up to Iowa State. Yeah, right. You'll have those, but mostly you're in Texas. You know what I mean? You're in Baylor. You're in Texas, and it does get cold. Right. Don't get it twisted. It does get cold down there in Texas. I mean, we do get some brisk iced tea days, but that is something that, as a young man who has been all these years in Texas, it's an uphill fight. They've got to recruit their butt off to make sure that happens anytime you're trying to draw a kid out of Texas. We were fortunate to get some though, like Eric Warfield, Corey Dixon and stuff like that, guys like that. They came up from Texas. And I think at one point, even Corey Dixon was like, he wanted to go home. It took Tom Osborne. It took him to really sit down and say, nah, you're not leaving. You're going to finish. And he ended up doing very well for us. But, yeah, it does make it tough, man. It does make it tough.
Well, I guess we can talk about this now because I'm assuming that's what you're going to bring up. And Nick and I talked about it a little bit. 13 minutes for not – the thing is, what he made, it wasn't even a hype video. Right. It was documentary style on YouTube. And listen, I understand the building your brand, especially now with NIL. You want to make a name for yourself. You're leaving TCU. You're going to a big powerhouse, blue blood program, Nebraska or Texas. I get all that. But my biggest problem, who in your corner is telling you like, hey, I've got this great idea. This is what we're going to do. We're going to sit you down in a gym and we're going to make a documentary style show, movie, whatever you want to call it, put it on YouTube, and that'll get people excited. I just don't understand, like, who in his corner is saying, hey, this is a great idea. Because, look, I guess you can say it was cool, kind of. It didn't really make much sense to me. I'll be honest, I only watched a couple minutes of it, and I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. I don't have time for this. I have other things going on. I just don't understand. Is that just kind of what college kids do now? Is this what these young kids do? I mean, he's around my age. I would never think about doing anything like that.
The crazy thing about this, right, is a lot of those kids got to see LeBron James do the whatever it was called on ESPN, right?
Oh, the decision?
The decision, right?
Yeah.
So those kids saw that, and to them, that was like, whoa, that was dope. That was awesome.
Right.
But to us, we were like, what the,
what the hell is this?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, really, my guy? You know what I mean? I was already retired, so it was like for me, I was like, what is really going on?
Yeah,
So
seriously.
yeah, that threw me for a loop. But they saw that, and in this younger generation of highlight tapes and Instagram and everybody on Twitter and all the hype that comes
Right.
with your stars and all this stuff, they get caught up in the moment of it, right? But at the end of the day, man, come perform wherever you go, lay it on the line and put it out on the, unless you're Deion Sanders. I mean, Deion was very big on that, right?
Right,
Me and
right.
Deion were cool, and he was big on that. He was, flash and build a brand and do all of that.
Right.
He could back it up.
Oh,
that was one of the things about him.
Hall of Famer. Oh, yeah.
He talked it. He still went out there and told you what he was going to do to you, and then you try to get busy in his face, he would throw a punch back at you. So it was, he was that kind of guy. But hey, listen, I want to see O'Shawn perform now. You listen. If you ain't Grant Wistrom and Tomich and that type of defensive end, that was all for naught. Right. I need sacks. I need 8-9 sacks a year coming out of you. So yeah, that's what I want to see.
We have a couple texts. Again, go ahead and text the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. Froth says, I think it's more for advertisers and people that want to give him money next year, not for the fans. And Tommy says, you can monetize your YouTube content, so it's all about money-making opportunity. I get that, but at some point, and we had a texter bring this up, and I'll have to look back and find the text message and ask you, Strick. I understand building your brand and all this, and this is part of my problem with NIL. I'm all for the players getting paid. I think it's a great thing, but I think so many times we might look at these guys as like, shouldn't we be focused on football? Like at what point is it like you can do this documentary, this hype video all you want? Like, sure, whatever, if he's trying to make money off of it. But dude, like, you're a great player at TCU. We're recruiting you to play football, man. Like you can do all this stuff on the side and all these antics. All this, I guess I get it, but you got to show something on the field. And it just, I don't know. I wouldn't say it rubs me the wrong way. It just really didn't make any sense to me.
Right. I think that's what I come down to is like, well, especially 13 minutes, 5 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, like, come on, man.
Yeah, right. 15 minutes. Like you said, there's other things I could be doing instead of sitting there. There's other great content I could be watching, but just to listen to where you're going to make a decision potentially between two. I mean, you could have told me that in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So if 5 minutes,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nebraska.
Yeah, that's the part that kind of just throws me to the left. But listen, kids want their shine, and however they want to get their shine. Everybody is looking these days, man. Not just in sports, but in all types of arenas. People are looking for their fame. Look at the guy, man, we just talked about last week. We looked at that guy was looking for something. The guy with Mike Tyson. The guy's looking for something. He either wanted to try to get famous, he wanted to get clickbait, he wanted to something because he was prompting that and ended up going left on him, because he didn't think that on the plane, he thought probably he was safe. You know what I'm saying? And in these situations, you depends on who you messing with, right? You gotta leave people alone, let people go about their own piece. But people are looking for some form of fame, some form of 15 minutes, some form of be on the news, some form of TMZ, some whatever they want to be on, and they're chasing it these days.
Right. You're listening to On the Block 93.7 The Ticket again. Go ahead and text the Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Strick, this is the text that we got earlier today, and I kind of liked what this guy said. And as someone that is a former athlete, especially at Nebraska, I want to get your thoughts on this. He says, if you're a guy like Casey Rogers and put in the blood, sweat, and tears into this program, and you're about to be the dude, the defensive lineman that just recently entered the transfer portal. Then out of nowhere, you have this Mathis guy who hasn't proven anything in Nebraska, start getting treated like he's a two-time All-American and getting ridiculous NIL offers from the same school you've spent years grinding for. How does that make you feel? And my point was like, I mean, that's a good point. And I'm not saying that's a reason why he transferred. I don't think any of us know why he transferred. And I'm not sure if Casey Rogers really owes us anything or has to tell us why he transferred. Kid decided he's going to enter the transfer portal. Looks like maybe USC is a good fit for him. We'll see. But I guess there probably is something to be said.
He could come back though, right?
He could. I'm assuming
I mean,
if he's entering
if
He's
the
probably
options aren't good for
right.
him, but you would think that the options got to
Right.
be, I would say if you're doing a horizontal move, you're still as a starter, knowing unless they absolutely told you that and they presented a bag to you that was significant. Why I wouldn't do a horizontal move. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go to an Oklahoma State or go to an Iowa State or go to an Illinois or anything like that. It's got to be a significant upgrade for me, right? To make sure that I was making that change. Knowing that you're going to be the starter, your opportunities for any type of growth would have been right there, especially being the guy that they were looking to. But I don't know. Like you said, we don't know. And it's not that he's owed us anything.
No.
So,
And I'm wondering, with that as an athlete that put in your time at Nebraska, would that rub you the wrong way? I mean, O'Shawn Mathis is probably the better player than Casey Rogers. We can probably assume that, but there is something to be said for loyalty. I mean, the guy stuck it out at Nebraska. He was going to be probably the leader of that defensive line this season. And then O'Shawn Mathis is coming in. I mean, we're hearing six-figure numbers being thrown out there for him. Yeah. So does that rub you the wrong way a little bit?
And that's where I think the new wave of coaching has to come forth, meaning that those things you have to assess. You have to really start looking in depth as how is this going to play out? How is this going to affect other people in my organization? Who are those potential individuals that is going to maybe feel that little nudge or that thing that's kind of like you're bumping them off or somebody's taking your place type of deal, right? So those things now as a coach, you've got to be able to look at that and make an assessment. So there needs to be a conversation. You need to go down there and you need to be talking outside the box and figuring out how you can make something better for him. May not be to the same number, the same tune, but you need to maybe start figuring stuff out like that as to how you can, maybe shift something his way or present something to him that makes him feel good about it. Depends on who the person is. If you don't care, if you feel you're good and you're locked, stocked, and barreled in that position, okay, maybe somewhere is better for you. But those things probably need to be assessed as a coach now. That's something. If you're Alabama, at the end of the day, you're Alabama. You're just like, okay, next.
Exactly. It's like we'll just get the next 5-star.
You know what I mean? You don't. But I don't think we have that ability to just be like, oh, next.
Right. We get tons of texts coming in. I want to make sure we get to all of these. Gary says monetization isn't a motivating factor. He'll get $5 per 1,000 views. He'll be able to buy a frozen pizza when it's all said and done. Hey, why not? Everyone loves a DiGiorno pizza. Tommy says, we're talking about a generation that watch people play video games online instead of playing the game themselves. That's a solid point. Bubba says, I don't blame the kids for those videos. We eat that stuff up. I would say some people probably enjoyed it. I don't know. It was just a little bit odd for me. Ben says, hell, people aren't even happy with just having a birthday anymore. They got to celebrate a whole week. I think players understand the recruiting game. Got to make every recruit feel like they're the belle of the ball. That's the way of recruiting. I mean, he's entirely right in saying that. Texter writes in, loyalty doesn't mean anything when it comes to money. And we all know that. And hey, I mean, that's NIL. That's the business.
Right? That's it. That's professional business too. So at the same day, you have the opportunity to negotiate. They have the opportunity to pay you, and they have the opportunity not to. You've got to be able to present your case, lay out your numbers, put out how you're playing, and then have somebody to present that. And then they've got to make a decision. Do they want to keep you? Do they want to? Is that a good number? Is that not a good number? I mean, just think of just recently the decisions that like Kansas City just had to make with Tyreek Hill or. Even Green Bay with Devontae Adams, guys have to really sit down and weigh it out and make a decision. When you pay Aaron Rodgers what you pay Aaron Rodgers, is there something left? Is that going to dismantle your team? Who else can you get if these two individuals have significant, earnings and income that's coming into their pockets as opposed to now what can you bring? So those are the type of things that they're business decisions. And it's the same thing with NIL now. It's really turning into I think a prerequisite or preparation for professional ball.
You're right. No, it is. Yeah, it's a business.
It's a business now. It's become that. It's always been that, but shoot, I sure wish I could have got a few ducks for some Stricky jerseys, some 21 jerseys.
You should have. Hey, you were going to the tournament. You should have been getting something.
Could have got a little something, but
that's right.
But even more so than me, I mean, I was just looking at my teammates, because at the end of the day, I did okay. I got a little bonus money, and it was pretty good for me. So at the end of the day, those guys, shoot, I mean, I remember weekends, guys were trying to just hustle up to get a pizza, because the weekend, the training table was closed. So I don't know.
Hey, that's being a college kid, right? Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you. I mean, hey, listen, ramen noodles was stacked up in. you had to make it work in bulk, baby. Right. Whatever you could find, and them ramen noodles was hitting different on the weekend when you needed it.
I was a big ramen noodle guy. Also, Ellis says, all right, we'll just say he doesn't like how it's being handled with kids these days. We'll recap that. Wanted to make sure that we let you guys know here after the break. Make sure that you stay with us because we got a pretty cool guy, pretty cool guest coming on. It is actually, let me see here. Excuse me, Joey Helmer. He covers Oklahoma for 27 Sports with the OU Insider. Strick sent me a message today, or I guess it was a couple days ago now on Instagram. Oklahoma had the most fans in the country for their spring game. What does that mean? Lincoln Riley out the door, Venables in the door. Also, Dylan Gabriel, the transfer from UCF, is going to be at Oklahoma. Lots of moving pieces for them. They'll face off against Nebraska here to start out the season 2. I believe it's week 3 or 4. So we'll get his insight on all of that. Again, Joey Helmer covers Oklahoma for 24/7 Sports. OU Insider. We'll have him after the break, so make sure you stay with us.
Yesterday, your water heater worked just fine. Today, surprise! When you're out of hot water, just call the plumbers at Bryant. In most cases, you can get same-day water heater replacement. What you won't get is a costly surprise with the bill. At Bryant, the price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. No last-minute extras for piping or ventilation alterations. Need a new water heater? Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
Let's go ahead and head right to the phone lines. Bob, what's up?
Hey, I'm here at the ballpark.
How are the elements? Is it nice outside?
Oh, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. When it's out of the north, it's not too windy. When I first got here, about a half hour ago. Yeah, okay. Strike two, yeah! Strike two! Put it down there, Steve! I'm sorry.
It's okay. I love it. Thank you, Bob. Bob, we're going to let you go, Bob.
All right. I'll be here.
Weekdays from 2 to 3 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. Springtime is here, and that means you're outside more in nice weather and maybe even having garage parties with neighbors. The drink of this spring and summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs and 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Join us at Cactus by Venue for our new America's Favorites menu. We're keeping your favorite dips and tacos and adding brand new dishes, including delicious steaks, burgers, pastas, and more. focusing on vibrant casual dining using a blend of fresh ingredients prepared from scratch. Located at 56 and Highway 2 in the Edgewood Shopping Center, see the whole menu online at cactusbyvenue.com and order yours to go at venuedelivered.com. Cactus by Venue, America's favorites.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Storage Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 Highway 6 in Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers Great Plains Regional Auction on June 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Still rather breezy, but not quite as windy as yesterday. Northwest winds could still gust over 30. We'll see an afternoon high of 59. Mainly clear tonight, a low down to around 31. Warmer tomorrow, highs up to around 70. South winds will be back at it again, gusting over 25 to 30. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I can actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Husker fans, your Nebraska softball team is competing for the 2022 Big Ten regular season title. There are 3 more chances to support your Huskers at home during Fan Appreciation Weekend, May 6th through the 8th. The team hosts Indiana in a 3-game series with giveaways each day. For more information on promotions, visit Huskers.com. Get your single-game tickets now at Huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You listen to On the Block 93.7 The Ticket. Nate Brennan coming at you, joined by the Husker Hall of Famer, Eric Strickland. Strick, how you doing?
Hey, water, wine. Turn water into wine.
Hey, that's the best combo, right? We're going to need wine for this next conversation. Hopefully we won't get too heated. Joey Helmer, he covers Oklahoma for 24/7 Sports, OU Insider. He's going to join us right now. Joey, how you doing, man?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Is it? It's not snowing up there today, is it? I know you guys have had some snow up there in recent days.
We've had all kinds of weather, man. I mean, we've had winds from 40 to 50 miles an hour, 85-degree weather to snow. I mean, it's been all over the place. So we won't talk too much about the weather because I know that's been in a lot of people's minds. People aren't too happy with that. But one thing we do want to make sure we talk about, and then just kind of something that Strick sent me the other day, and I saw that you've retweeted it as well, Joey. Oklahoma, 75,000 fans in attendance for the spring game. I'm not sure if every spring game's done yet, but that is actually first in the country. Can you just tell me, compared to years past, is this pretty on par?
Honestly, this is not on par at all. It blew any spring game in the past out of the water. I think before the pandemic, the record was like 50,000 or 51,000, somewhere in the 50,000. And Brent Venables this spring said numerous times how much he wanted the fan support, wanted this Palace on the Prairie to be packed out, and that it was, to the tune of 75,000 plus fans. So it was a record. It was surprising. I had people the day before the game telling me that the buzz on Campus Corner felt like a real football game buzz, and I was like, well, we'll see. I still think it's a spring game, and it's going to be the best spring game crowd that Oklahoma has had, but we'll see what the number actually ends up being. Well, on Saturday, getting over there to the stadium, and it did feel like a real game day. It was almost surreal, and fans were still filing in, guys, at the end of the first quarter because I think they only had so many entrances open to the stadium, and I was told that if you guys are familiar with the stadium at all, on the south side, Lindsay Street crosses across the way, and the lines for admission were all the way back to Lindsay Street. So it was just a crazy day, and certainly the atmosphere was unlike anything I've ever seen at the spring game.
So this is Eric. How you doing? Thank you again for joining us on the block. We appreciate your time. So with that, do you think a lot of this had to do with the fact that, just to throw it back in Lincoln Riley's face, just to basically let him know that, hey, you made a mistake on this when you left? And what was your take on there had to be a lot of new additions. There was a lot of, individuals that have now come in based on the, after leaving, so what is your take? What is your feel on how the program is, and is it stable with what Venables has to work with?
So those are two great questions. To the first one, I think from the fan standpoint, it was probably their first time to say, hey, we're Oklahoma football and we're going to support this program regardless of who our coach is. And oh, by the way, we love our coach in Brent Venables now. This is the guy that the minute Lincoln Riley walked out the door, that people were screaming they needed to bring Brent Venables back. And so I think there's an excitement level around this program right now that also is unlike something I've seen, at least in the last 10 to 15 years. To me, from people I've talked to, I started covering the program in about 2006 or 2007. And people have told me this has a very early Bob Stoops feel to it right now. And if it does, it's easy to see why there was so much success for Oklahoma immediately when Bob Stoops took over, because there's just an energy around the program right now that's kind of unprecedented from what I've seen. And then I'm trying to remember what your second question was after I kind of
that's okay. It's okay. It's just dealing with, there's been a lot of transition, obviously, with players leaving and going their separate ways. Obviously some, high recruits that you guys had brought in. And then now, how do you feel about the new additions or those who have had to step up and fill the voids based on what you were able to see? How do you feel? How do you feel about the stability of the program, or does that even matter this year?
Yeah, so that's been a really interesting storyline this spring. With you talk about some of the notable additions like Dylan Gabriel at quarterback, and you'd think maybe that would be kind of a transition. Obviously, the half of an entire coaching staff that's new right now, and so blending that, and so the stability of the program instantly comes to mind. And I just think from people I've talked to, from the coaches, from the players, it's been about as seamless as it could be. Dylan Gabriel right now is the clear-cut leader of this team, and Brent told us a story about after the game the other day at halftime. One of the things that he's really tried to establish, and I think has been successful in so doing, is just the culture. Oklahoma doing the things the right way, and that comes down to anything, including cleaning up the locker room. And he said a couple of players, Gabriel and wide receiver Marvin Mims, were late out onto the second half because they were cleaning the locker room, guys. And so there's an accountability with this program right now that I think is helping with the stability. And so to answer your question, I think Oklahoma is fine from that standpoint. And this has been a really, really good spring for Oklahoma.
Joey Helmer covers Oklahoma for 24/7 Sports OU Insider. He's joining us right now. We're talking about the spring game. Oklahoma had 75,000 fans. Nebraska had 54,000. They came in fourth. Oklahoma leads the country. Joey, one thing I want to ask you is kind of the recruiting perspective of things. Because one thing, I was doing a little bit of digging, looking on 24/7, and then the class of 2020, Oklahoma was sixth in the transfer rating. Class of 2021, first in the transfer rating. Class of 2022, fourth in the transfer rating. So Oklahoma really hitting the transfer portal hard. I know Nebraska has too the past couple seasons. Did you have a lot of transfers there for the spring game?
Yeah, as far as recruits and everything, there was a ton of high school level talent on campus for that, and I think Oklahoma certainly is going to be looking into the portal here. Venables mentioned the fact that with the backup quarterback situation, the portal might be an option for that, and so we'll see moving forward. But there's been an emphasis for Oklahoma on recruiting that's kind of been different too than what we were accustomed to seeing under the Lincoln Riley era. And that is, Brent Venables is going to be very particular with the guys he takes. He wants commitments to be commitments, and nowadays that's a hard thing because with guys, visiting all these different schools and everything. But I think Oklahoma's recruiting is going to be different from that standpoint. There's going to be a loyalty to this thing, and it's easy for me to say now, kind of taking a little bit more of a macro approach and seeing what Clemson was able to do, kind of why they were able to do some of the things they were, because they want, it's hard to develop back to the previous question, stability when you guys have just players coming in and out of your program. And so that's something that Brent Venables really wants to make sure is not the case.
Again, Joey Helmer covers Oklahoma for 24/7 Sports, joining us right now. Joey, you couldn't have picked a little bit of a more difficult schedule before you face off against Nebraska. You start the season with UTEP, then go play Kent State, both those games at home. Then you travel to Lincoln. I know it's a 1-0 mentality for all these college football teams. You focus on the person ahead of you on the schedule. Do you think that maybe Venables and those guys are already looking at that Nebraska game in Lincoln?
Oh, I think there's probably something to be said for that, for sure. Obviously, they've said all the right things. They're focusing on the very first game against UTEP, and as they should be. It's the first game of the Venables era, but you can't help but look at that non-conference schedule and see those two teams, and then see Nebraska, which was such a great rivalry for so many years. And man, I just, to me, last year, just being able to, and I'll take you guys back a little bit. When I was a senior in college was the last time Oklahoma played in Lincoln in 2009. And I was unable to go because I placed my academics in front of going to one of the cathedrals of college football. And so I've regretted it until this day. And I for one, am as excited as anyone for that game. So, I think Oklahoma's probably looking at that one and certainly circling it a little bit differently.
My last question, Joey. So we know that Brent Venables is a great, he was a great Stapleton as far as the defense and getting stuff done and getting back to just raw domination from the defensive side of things. Now, my question to you is, do you think that the fans are still kind of upset about the way that Lincoln Riley did it? Is there still conversation and talk around Norman about, him bolting and then doing it the way that he did it? Or is everybody just over it and they're looking for it now? How's the feeling about that now?
I think Oklahoma fans just are kind of sick of it, honestly. And Lincoln Riley kind of stoked the fire again with that Players Tribune piece that he came out with last week. And Of course, you saw the comparisons of the USC spring game, and I think they had like 33,000, which was a record for them as well. But you saw the pictures of that compared to Oklahoma. But by and large, I just think Oklahoma fans are really they're pleased with the direction of the program right now. They really are. And with that said, you hit on what the biggest gripe was. It wasn't the fact that he left to go to USC. It was the way in which it was done. And
right.
A lot of people felt like their intelligence was insulted because, let's face it, that did not come together overnight. And there's no reason to act like it did. It's one of those things, and even from my standpoint, I felt like my intelligence was insulted to a degree because it's like I'm not one to believe that you're just coming back from Stillwater separate from the team, and that's absolutely the first time you've talked to that administration. So, there was that factor, but then talking about the defense, Oklahoma has struggled defensively.
Yeah.
Outside of maybe, I think the 15 defense nationally ranked all right, but they've been bad for the better part of a decade, and so they're gladly around here willing to trade away a little bit of offense. Now I think they'll be really good offensively still, but they're gladly ready to trade that away for a defense that can be attacking. And some of those defenses that we used to see for Oklahoma when they played against the Black Shirts back in the day.
Absolutely.
Joey, my last question for you. Has there been any talk within the locker room, I guess, coaching staff, anything about moving to the SEC, or are the guys, for the most part, still focused on playing in the Big 12 for the next couple seasons?
They're focused on the Big 12 this year. We haven't really heard a lot of talk on the year after that, but Venables, as soon as he came in his press conference after he arrived at the airport and that next day when they introduced him as the head coach, he mentioned changing the culture to where it was ready for that move to the SEC. And in my mind, I have always thought 2023 was going to be the year. I just logistically don't think it's going to work when they bring those other schools in, that Oklahoma and Texas are going to stick around. So I think that could all be kind of timed up maybe to where, next fall, not this fall, but the following fall, that Oklahoma and Texas are in the SEC, and we'll see kind of the next transition in college football there.
Joey, how about we give you a call here close to this Nebraska-Oklahoma game? How's that sound?
Absolutely. I'd love it, guys.
Awesome, man.
I really enjoy coming on with you guys.
Absolutely. We appreciate your time. Thanks, man.
Hey, thanks. Have a good rest of the day, guys.
Yep.
All right. You too.
Joey Helmer covers Oklahoma for 24/7 Sports OU Insider.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
No, that was great stuff. Getting a little bit of some insight on Oklahoma. Hopefully, Strick, he has to write an article about how bad Nebraska beat Oklahoma. I didn't want to say that while he was here.
That's what I would like. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah, we don't want to wish that on him, but great stuff again. That was Joey Helmer, covers Oklahoma for 24/7 Sports OU Insider. He's on his way out, so you know what that means. It's time for Shootout with Strick. Your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Go ahead and call us. Honda of Lincoln Hotline 402-464-5685. Call us. See if you can beat the Nebraska Hall of Famer Eric Strickland in some trivia. You're listening to On the Block, 93.7 The Ticket.
From selling a home to even building one, you're doing a lot and need a lender who can help you do it. Like Elizabeth Rizak of Security First Bank.
With over 25 years of experience as a mortgage loan officer, I take pride in helping borrowers find the right loan for their next home.
Mortgage lending from Security First Bank. We're the bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 505011 and 483558.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is an equal opportunity employer.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back in the future.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Still rather breezy, but not quite as windy as yesterday. Northwest winds could still gust over 30. We'll see an afternoon high of 59. Mainly clear tonight, a low down to around 31. Warmer tomorrow, highs up to around 70. South winds will be back at it again, gusting over 25 to 30. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Join us at Cactus by Venue for our new America's Favorites menu. We're keeping your favorite dips and tacos and adding brand new dishes, including delicious steaks, burgers, pastas, and more. Focusing on vibrant casual dining using a blend of fresh ingredients prepared from scratch. Located at 56 and Highway 2 in the Edgewood Shopping Center, see the whole menu online at cactusbyvenue.com and order yours to go at venuedelivered.com. Cactus by Venue, America's Favorites.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Southeast Community College is training tomorrow's workforce today with our nearly 60 career and technical programs. We are doing our part to help employers fill vacancies during this current labor shortage, graduating students with skill sets employers are seeking. We're also helping to upskill the workforce by adding short-term credentials like certificates in many programs so that employees can get retraining quickly. Learn more about upskilling with SCC at southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop, but you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
You heard that correctly. It is time to play the game. Shootout with Strick. Your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. All you have to do is call 402-464-5685. The first caller, you're going to face off against Eric Strickland. And I don't know. I'm seeing him on the Starter Heyman video stream. He looks a little bit nervous today. He's got a little bit of a winning streak going on, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah. And you didn't play my song last week, so
I just don't know. What is it? The champ is here?
Yeah,
right,
I was. Yeah, okay. I was the champ last week. I was on fire. we were gonna find that NBA Jams one too. Whenever I had a good streak like that, I got.
Hey, there you go.
He's on fire.
Hey, that game was awesome. All right, Strick. I put a note right here. Call Bach. So I will actually know that he's on vacation. I'll give him a text. I'll see where I can find the champ is here. We have looks like Brady on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Brady, how you doing? How do you feel about the NBA playoffs so far?
I feel like it's been an exciting run, especially Pelicans last night. They've been a surprise in the playoffs for sure.
Ooh. He seems a little bit confident.
Trouble.
Strick's shaking in his boots a little bit. Well, our category, we're talking about the NBA playoffs, also where some of these guys in the NBA playoffs went to college. So that's going to be our category today. Brady, stay on the line. Want to make sure that Strick goes first so you know how many points you have to get. Strick, are you ready?
Ready.
All right. We will start in 3, 2, and 1. Where did Jalen Brunson go to college? Villanova or Gonzaga?
Villanova.
That is correct. Where did Spencer Dinwiddie go to college? USC or Colorado?
Colorado.
That is correct. Where did Hassan Whiteside play? George Mason or Marshall?
Marshall.
That is correct. And then where did Joe Harris go to college? Virginia or Texas Tech?
Virginia.
That is correct. And who is the head coach at Arizona State?
Bobby Hurley.
That is correct. Didn't even need the buzzer.
I wanted to say Eric Musselman. I was listening. I had to go deep in on my mind on that one. I had to go deep.
Bobby Hurley. That one's that's pretty good. So Brady, that means that Strick got 6. He swept that. So how are you feeling after that?
Brady, get ready. Listen, there's a
okay.
Finish him.
Oh, great! Now we got Strick talking trash. Brady, don't let him do that to you. You're gonna do well. I believe in you. Are you ready? All right, let's go ahead and do it in 3, 2, and 1. Where did LaMarcus Aldridge go to school? Texas or Florida?
We're gonna go Florida.
No, it was actually Texas. Where did Jaylen Brown go to college? Boston College or Cal?
Boston College.
Nope, it was actually Cal. What college did James Harden attend? Arizona State or UNLV?
Arizona State.
That is correct. Where did Jaren Jackson Jr. go to college? Michigan State or Kentucky?
Michigan State.
That is correct. And this former Creighton Blue Jay was drafted 11th overall by the Denver Nuggets in 2014.
Denver Nuggets draft from Creighton, you said?
Kyle Korver.
Creighton. It was not Kyle. Kyle Korver was a little bit before that.
2014.
Oh, Mac.
It wouldn't have been Doug McDermott.
It was Doug McDermott.
I'll let you have it.
Oh, okay.
We'll let him have it. But Brady, unfortunately, honestly, 4 points is pretty good.
That is good.
6 points is somewhat unstoppable. So, Brady, go ahead and hang up because the fourth caller, you're going to actually get the chicken because Strick, he plays for the people. So, $50 Buffalo Wings and Rings. All you have to do is be the third caller. All right, Strick, let me make sure I turn this up here on the back. Here we go.
Give me a hell yeah. I said, give me a hell yeah. Flawless victory. Boom shakalaka.
I'll give you 3 buttons right there.
You gave me a
little extra because all right, I don't have the champions here. What is that? 5 in a row? Or is that 4?
I want to say 4 at least. 4? No, I had 4 last week.
So that was 5,
right? Because we didn't play Friday. We didn't play Friday, right?
All right. Well, you know what that means, everyone. You need to start studying now because we cannot let Strick get away with this. It's now been 5 in a row, but again, he plays for the people. So that was Shootout with Strick again. Strick now looking at 5 in a row, unstoppable
crossover, Allen Iverson style.
Again, 4:45 is usually what time we play that. Oh, here, let me see what is Nick's trying to come on. Was it 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I have to make an announcement. So somehow, some way, Brady wins the ticket.
Oh yes.
So even though lost,
Nice.
Brady still wins.
Yeah, Brady, go get the chicken, baby. Go get it.
Hey, no, that's really Strick playing for the people. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So again, 4:45 every day. We play Shootout with Strick and Strick on a 5-game winning streak. So we're gonna have to put an end to that. Stay with us. We still got another hour of On the Block right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Southeast Community College is training tomorrow's workforce today with our nearly 60 career and technical programs. We are doing our part to help employers fill vacancies during this current labor shortage, graduating students with skill sets employers are seeking. We're also helping to upskill the workforce by adding short-term credentials like certificates in many programs so that employees can get retraining quickly. Learn more about upskilling with SCC at southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
Old School with DP and J.
And I learned this about the difference between the college game and the NFL. Every play is designed offensively and defensively for one guy to make a mistake, whether it's being out of your gap, forgetting the blitz, forgetting a check on offense, forgetting the snap count. In college, it might be explosive play, 15 yards, whatever you deem as explosive play. The pros,
all of them are house.
All of them are. The guy will hit his head on the goalpost.
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website, cpmercado.com, to see current deals.
Hey, sports fans, Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 Top Independent Auto Repair Center. Call us 402-488-8934. Service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his auto care. 70
Fox KFXL weather, sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Rather breezy, but not quite as windy as yesterday. Northwest winds can still gust over 30. We'll see an afternoon high of 59. Mainly clear tonight, a low down to around 31. Warmer tomorrow, highs up to around 70. South winds will be back at it again, gusting over 25 to 30. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Faculty and staff at Wilbur Claytonia School District reminds us that most folks have enough sense to hold a child's hand while crossing a busy street. But the internet is an information superhighway, and unfortunately it's replete with predators and cyber threats. Make sure your youngster is neither a victim nor victimizer. Join chat rooms, social media, emails, and also text messages. Ensure technology is an aid to their education, not faculty and staff at Wilbur Claytonia School District working tirelessly for student and family safety. Our academic calendar is online at wilburclaytonia.org. Call 402-821-2266.
Hello, I'm Charlie Stone, back with the latest news from Honda of Lincoln. Joining me now is the general manager, Andy Goodyear. Hey, Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Charlie.
Hey, Andy, with spring right around the corner, how is your supply of new Hondas and pre-owned vehicles?
It's really good, Charlie. As I've said before, when you drive by our lot, you don't see what you're looking for. Just remember, we have hundreds of new Hondas arriving soon, with Honda continuing to offer 0.9% APR financing to qualified buyers. Plus, we have over 125 pre-owned vehicles in stock ready for immediate delivery.
That's great, Andy. Any more great news?
There is, Charlie. Honda just announced financing from 0.99% APR certified pre-owned Hondas.
So come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Join us at Cactus by Venue for our new America's Favorites menu. We're keeping your favorite dips and tacos and adding brand new dishes, including delicious steaks, burgers, pastas, and more. Focusing on vibrant casual dining using a blend of fresh ingredients prepared from scratch. Located at 56 and Highway 2 in the Edgewood Shopping Center, see the whole menu online at cactusbyvenue.com and order yours to go at venuedelivered.com. Cactus by Venue, America's favorites.
Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning into Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
93.7 The Ticket veteran and Bill Callahan Fan Club president, Jake Bakovic.
I love Bill this kid.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Hold up.
You're back on the block with Strick and Bach, but not today. It is Strick and Nate Dogg on the microphone. We thank you guys for joining us right here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com, and you can also find us on all streaming platforms, YouTube, Twitch, and Spotify, and whatever else is out there. They're all over the place these days. But we thank you again if you're joining from the stream or you're joining on the radio station. We thank you guys for joining us on the block. Been a lot of talking about a little Oklahoma football, the 13 minutes of fame for O'Shawn Mathis.
Yeah, however long he wants, right?
However long he wanted to go with his own little documentary reminiscent of LeBron James when he did the choice or the whatever. See, that's how
the decision.
Yeah.
You remember what happened with that, though, Strick, is that all the Cleveland fans were burning his jersey.
It didn't turn out very well for him, but we hope it does. We hope it does turn out well for O'Shawn Mathis and that he's able to perform and put in the work that's necessary. But here on the second hour, we're going to talk a little bit about baseball, and there's a lot of things that are happening out there in baseball now that you have new technologies. You have pitch tracker, you have all these things. Now they're doing a little bit more video, in situations, instant replays in different situations, so forth and so on. Maybe trying to hold them a little bit accountable. Data StatCast shows how brutal umpire Angel Hernandez was in the Phillies-Brewers game. So this is a topic that we're going to hold for the texters on the text line, the Sutter Heyman text line at 402-464-5685, 464-5685. And we may even take a call about it because this has been a problem. This is something that just hasn't, it just came up today. And now that they're tracking it better, they do that. They track just like in the NBA and referees and all of that. They track your pitches and what's off and kind of your what's the word? They do assessments on you basically, right? So my issue is that the question I would have is this an issue for umpires? And it's a regular issue. How do we make it better? Is it training or is it technology? That's the question I want to throw out to everybody today, because here's the situation in the Brewers and the Phillies game. They said, this is funny. They said Angel Hernandez's strike zone belongs in the Little League. They said it was so wide that basically, and it was costly. They said there was one specific incident in the ninth inning where, there was one out and I think there may have been one runner on first base or something of that nature. And he called basically a punch out with a 3-2 count that could have changed the whole dynamic in a 1-0 game. And so they said that the data zone for Major League Baseball shows that Hernandez's strike zone impacted the Phillies and Brewers game, where he punched out 6 batters on pitches outside the zone, 4 Phillies and 2 Brewers. The Brewers starter, Eric Lauer, recorded a career high 13 strikeouts with a wide expanded zone. So that's a question I would have for you. You can go on Twitter on umpire scorecards. They did a really good job on breaking it down, talking about his overall accuracy, where it favored on one side or the other, and his overall consistency. They did a good breakdown on that. You can check that out on umpire scorecards, where it talks about his this particular game in a 1-0 game for the Brewers. For the Brewers to win over the Phillies away. Usually the home team gets the benefit of the doubt, but in this specific instance, it looked like it went against them. So I pose that question to you, Nate, man. Do you think it's something that they need to expose with more technology? Does there need to be more training? Or is it the good old boy network and they're just letting certain people in the game just because they're part of the in group?
Well, listen, I have a few thoughts on this, and I'm a huge baseball guy, so I was actually watching this game last night. Primetime baseball, give it to me. Always going to watch it. But unfortunately for a lot of people now, that's not the case. Here's my initial thoughts on the umpire. I personally love the strike zone. I know that Angel Hernandez has had his issues in the past.
Yeah, they really talk about him. Like this is
he's the big one, and he's usually the scapegoat. But each umpire has their own strike zone. It might be a little bit too tight. I mean, there might be some issues with an umpire strike zone. That's what makes baseball baseball. And if you were watching the game last night, it was Kyle Schwarber was the guy that ended up exploding on him. He's throwing his bat, throwing his helmet, kicking dirt and all that. That's part of the game. I love seeing that. I'm just worried that it will speed up the game and you'll get the right call at the end of the day. But there's something to be said for the human error aspect of baseball. And that's what I enjoy watching. I like
that's what keeps it pure. Is that make it a purest part of the game?
I remember back in the day, I don't know if you remember this strict, Lou Piniella was always the guy. I mean, he would throw bases, kick dirt in the umpire's face. I mean, he didn't give a damn about anything. And it made the game entertaining. The bigger issue that I have with the game last night, and I don't really know if there's any way to fix this because pitchers are getting more dominant every year. If you're trying to expand the game of baseball, you have a primetime matchup with the Phillies and the Brewers, and you're going into the 9th inning with the game 0-0. People don't want to watch that. Mm-hmm. As someone that watches baseball, I'll watch no matter what, but I know ratings are down for baseball. You're trying to make the game faster. You're trying to expand the reach, get the younger generation into it. When you go into the 9th inning with 0-0, guess what? You've lost everyone's attention. And I don't know what there's a way to fix that. I don't really know if it's the umpires, if it's the games, if it's changing the way the baseball is crafted. I have no idea what the solution is to that. But that's more the bigger issue for me than the umpires, because personally, I love a guy going off in an umpire. I think it makes the game fun.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, it's one of those things that's really tough because it is one of the old-fashioned purist games. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be honest, even as a player, it was one of the things that I hated off days. I just could not stand off days, sitting in the dugout, eating sunflower seeds, trying to stay awake. And listen, I'm on the team in the game. And for me, I hated that part of it. If I wasn't playing, I was like, can I go in the dugout? Can I go in the locker room? Just give me a little 5 minutes. Something. Yeah. After you didn't practice and you did all that, now you're sitting. Pitchers love it. Pitchers making the big money. Pitchers sitting out there in the bullpen. They throw their little tossing. Yep. They throw some, little bullpen work, and then they sit down and they just out there having a ball. They're not in the locker room, so it's not all kinds of eyes on you. You're just out there. They're having a ball. But us, man, it was tough. And so I would say that I enjoy baseball in the stadium as opposed to on TV.
Right.
I just feel, and it's the same thing with golf. I watch portions of golf. I would much rather be there, walk the course, see kind of a couple of the players I may enjoy, but watching it the full 4 days, 5 plus 6 hours or more. Yeah, no, I just feel there, there's so much more that I can do. So the purest parts of it, how do you change it? Hit us on the Sutter Heyman text line. What can they do to make the changes? I mean, obviously we had the home run race that made it interesting. What can they do to spice it up? What can they do to make it more interesting? Because the younger generation is really falling off of it. They want action. They want, pace. Even hockey get you a little bit of action because you're bumping and grinding, and there's some, a little bit of action to it. And it's the same thing. I like to be in the arena for that too. 402-464-5685. We want to love to hear your thoughts on what can they do in baseball to make the game a little bit better. So for me, then, as you spoke about it, I think, Nate, that you need to shrink the strike zone. If you want more hits, you want more bangers, you want more dingers, you want, more in the gaps. They're already trying to work on the shift rule because basically they're saying, we scouted you. We know you're a pull hitter. We're taking
we know you're going to hit it right here.
We know you're coming this way. So, for me, that means you have to work on your craft. If you're a pull hitter, then you need to let the ball get through the zone a little bit more and work on going opposite field. You've got to try to figure that out. And I hate that they're taking and changing the rules. Listen, they changed the rules and added hack-a-shack. You know what I'm saying? But then they also adjusted the rules because it was making the game just unbearable to watch. So they only said you can take advantage of it up to a certain point, and then at that you'll be penalized. I think, where you can't do it up to a certain point, and so therefore I think there's some stuff that can be done, but I just don't know what you can do to the game. The equipment's getting better, the pitchers are winning a lot of the times. An expanded strike zone is going to make the game worse. It's got to, if anything, you got to have a tight strike zone. You got to get the guys a chance to put that on the ball,
Right. Here, we got a couple texts coming in. Big Bird says, go watch some Savannah Bananas baseball. That's how they can get ratings up. I don't know if you've seen it, Strick, but they have, they do a ton of things. They have guys on stilts on the pitching mound. I think they did the Harlem Shake at one game. One that was really cool they did, if a fan caught the ball, it's for 1 out during the game. If a fan catches the ball, it counts as an out for the team, which is pretty
crazy.
So it's creative stuff like that. And they sell out almost every game, but baseball purists would never let that
happen.
Absolutely not. Here's an interesting thing that I was going to bring up, Strick, and I'm curious to hear what you have to say, because this was a little bit before I started following baseball, or this was even right around the time that I was born. Raf says, unfortunately, baseball was its best in the steroid era. Look, you can have all the opinions that you want on steroids, whether Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame or not, which don't even get me started on that. That's absolutely egregious, the fact that the greatest hitter to ever play the game of baseball isn't in the Hall of Fame. You kidding me? But I don't know if it's making steroids a part of the game. I'm not necessarily saying that, but when you look at Major League Baseball, the only time that you would say the entire country was watching, whether you're a baseball fan or not, was when Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were going at it. I mean, you had two different guys from completely different parts of life. I mean, they couldn't be more different, playing in two of the biggest cities in America, hitting 70 home runs a year. I mean, that's what people want to see, and that hasn't changed. And I know pitchers are getting better. They're throwing harder, and it's getting more difficult to hit the baseball. So I don't know if maybe the solution would be juicing the bats, juicing the ball, not juicing in the literal sense, but giving the hitters some type of advantage, because outside of that, and then Barry Bonds eventually started coming in towards that group, and then they had that big scandal where a bunch of guys went down with steroids. But since then, I can't think of a time where everyone was kind of on the same page. Like, let's go watch some baseball. I mean, they were selling out stadiums. It was leading network news. I mean, it was the story. And I don't know how you give hitters the advantage. And that's the problem. That's why this argument's so difficult for me, is because everyone says if you have the issue, come up with a solution. I don't really know what the solution is, but there's times we see baseball get in their own way Fernando Tatis is the perfect example. I mean, last year he was hitting home runs, throwing the bat, hyping up crowd and stuff like that, and then he gets plunked the next at bat. And I understand there's written rules of baseball, but guess what, Major League Baseball? This is what the kids want to see. They want to see a long home run, flip the bat, and then get excited. And baseball purists don't like that, and they just get out of their own way. So, again, Strick's right. Texas, 402-464-5685. I don't know what the solution is, but there's got to be something to give the hitters the advantage.
So here's the question, right? What then makes college baseball so much more interesting? And I mean, the fans seem to come out and get into it. Is it the price? Is it that you're able to get on a college campus? Is it the support? I mean, it would be no different than supporting your local team for the Cubs or the Brewers or the Yankees or whatever the case may be. But what is it that makes college baseball so much more, interesting? Is it the aluminum bat? Is it the, you're on seat? Is it them scoring more runs? I mean, we saw Nebraska, I think, put up 15 runs, not just and get a win.
That's fun.
Recently. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? So is it that, or do they need to go to aluminum bats, or like you said, juice the bats? I mean, it's got to be something that they've got to figure out, because and then here's another thing. Here's something that's interesting to me, right? Rightfully so, you throw a pitch at me, my head, trying to hurt me, because I flipped my bat because I went yard on you.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody clears out the bench. It's a brawl. It goes down, but there's no suspensions.
Right.
That's a question I have, right? But why is it that, like, in the emotions of the game, this is just a question I'm throwing out. I just been thinking about this. In the emotions of a game in basketball, somebody hits you with a little elbow, you get fouled really hard. Just being a basketball player, because we get suspended or we lose games, lose money.
Yeah.
Why is there a differentiation? Same thing in football. Why is there a differentiation? Because in hockey, I get blown up, and then all of a sudden, we boxing. I just go to the penalty box.
Well,
I in the penalty box for about 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So I've been wondering about that discrepancy.
Right.
Why can I not get upset and angry in my situation? And hey, you better watch out, man. And I want to hit you with a 2-piece chicken wing. Right. Because you hit me in the ribs and almost made me, break my meniscus or something. You know what I mean? Right. So that's just something I'm throwing out. It's just an interesting thing to me that, you can clear the benches, like a clearing bench for the NBA. You and everybody that came on the court is suspended.
Everyone, yeah. Hey, listen, I know Malice at the Palace was a little bit of an enigma, but players were out an entire season, playoffs, losing.
You know what I'm saying?
Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And I know there's a difference when you're going into the stands and all that, but there were guys that were just on the court getting suspended for 8 games.
I mean, but think about that though. Think about if you're like this is just a great thing, I think, to discuss, because I remember when I was playing in Boston, in Detroit, I'm walking out of the tunnel. And so I can understand how Malice in the Palace happened. I can understand, because we were Boston. We beat them in that series, and we were beating the brakes off of them. Mm-hmm. And somebody threw a beer on my head walking to the tunnel at halftime.
Right.
And so my natural reaction was, who the hell just did that? You came into my zone. Right. I climbed up the little stanchion thing, trying to dang near go over there to figure out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There was no security. There was nobody there. Mm-hmm. And so that was an upsetting thing. So now you're Ron Artest. Yes, hard foul. Yes, that's part of the game. Yes, all of that goes on. Listen, go back into the 80s and see what a real hard foul is, right? 90s and see what a real hard foul is.
Right.
But a fan throws something onto the court because he's on the court, and it hits your natural reaction. That's just like getting spit on, right?
Oh,
somebody throwing a drink on you is very disrespectful, right?
And he has anger management issues to begin with
already. So a natural reaction is, who the heck did that? He just missed the guy by one person, that actually did it. But then the natural reaction for the players is to go up there and defend their guy.
Back up my boy.
He's around people that don't have good intentions, obviously, towards him, right? And then, as you said, people are coming on the floor. So that, and I thought the narrative on that was really bad. I mean, I watched actually, if you watch it, I was on the documentary sitting next to, I think, either Ron Artest or somebody in it.
Oh, really? I'm gonna have to go back.
Yeah, I was actually sitting in. I wasn't on the team, but it was shown the years before, a couple years before it happened.
Right.
But yeah, man, that's just something I wanted to throw out there. Just just to speculate. If I'm out of place on my thinking, text us on the 402. Sutter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Just a thought, just throwing it out there, seeing how it is. We may even take a call next because we're going to be talking hitting the hardwood. We got to take a break, but we wanted to throw it out there. We'll come back, maybe take some text messages. We'll do a recap of hitting hardwood on some of the playoffs. There was some bounce back, and there might be some brooms. We'll come back and kind of revisit it and talk about it, and also hopefully hear from you coming back from the break on the block right here, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com.
Hello, I'm Charlie Stone, back with the latest news from Honda of Lincoln. Joining me now is the general manager, Andy Goodyear. Hey, Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Charlie.
Hey, Andy, with spring right around the corner, how is your supply of new Hondas and pre-owned vehicles?
Really good, Charlie. As I've said before, when you drive by our lot, you don't see what you're looking for, just remember we have hundreds of new Hondas arriving soon, with Honda continuing to offer 0.9% APR financing to qualified buyers. Plus, we have over 125 pre-owned vehicles in stock and ready for immediate delivery.
That's great, Andy. Any more great news?
There is, Charlie. Honda just announced financing from 0.99% APR on certified pre-owned Hondas for qualified buyers.
So come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Adversity introduces a man or a woman to themselves. It's easy to say, oh, have a great day when things are good. But when life happens, as we all know, adversity hits, that's when we find out who we are. It's okay to be not okay.
Sometimes we can't see the help that's there because of whatever issue.
There's athletes that are talking about mental health and just well-being and burnout right now because in the past 2 years, if COVID has showed us anything, it showed us the importance for connection.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning into Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side.
Work, laundry, dishes. I was exhausted. I needed a vacation, but finding a way to pay for it, not so easy. Then I found it, a research study at Solarion. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. It was so easy. I earned cash for the study and booked that vacation. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams. From treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for His Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Join us at Cactus by Venue for our new America's Favorites menu. We're keeping your favorite dips and tacos and adding brand new dishes, including delicious steaks, burgers, pastas, and more. Focusing on vibrant casual dining using a blend of fresh ingredients prepared from scratch. Located at 56 and Highway 2 in the Edgewood Shopping Center, see the whole menu online at cactusbyvenue.com and order yours to go at venuedelivered.com. Cactus by Venue, America's Favorites.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the block. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's hot. It's hot on the block. We thank you again for joining us. We were just talking about, a little bit of baseball, a little bit of brawling, a little bit of balling, all of those good things that happen. Bad umpiring. Yeah, referees are bad sometimes everywhere. So it happens. But
also, Strick, I wanted to say, Bryce says the unwritten rules of baseball is the dumbest thing in all of sports. Do you agree with that?
I would agree.
Yeah,
I think, those unwritten rules to me are just, it's a bunch of mess. You know what I mean? I especially when I'm talking about the part where, you have the flipping of the bats and
that's where it gets me.
Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Come on, bro. You just got that thing smashed on you. It's okay. It happens. It's part of the game. Yeah, you might strike me out too. And what am I supposed to do? Hit you with the ball or throw my helmet at you because you pump your fist and you walk off stomping and your chest puffed out? It's all that's all part of the game too, bro. That's good. So hey, it is part of the situation. So let's get into hitting the hardwood a little bit. Let's talk about some of the things that transpired over the weekend. A lot of games had happened over the weekend, some good, some bad. Some have brooms ready to be swept. Some was able to bounce back and get another breath of life. They were about to drown, and then all of a sudden somebody had the apparatus just to give them a little breath of life. Just, hey, here, take this. I know I've been in scuba and I got the air tank, but I'm gonna give you a little bit to keep you from drowning. That's happened a little bit too, but we'll talk about the Eastern Conference, what's going on over there. It looked like the broom was about to come out. Trae Young has been struggling over there for Atlanta. They've barely been able to score 100 points throughout the series, and now they find themselves being able to sneak one out in Miami by 1 point in Game 3, but only to have Miami to blow the doors off of them like they've been doing in all the other games in Game 4. Now we'll play again on Tuesday back in Miami. Yeah, back in Miami at 7 o'clock on NBA TV. So, listen, this series is a wrap. I just don't think they have the weapons. We've talked about that before. Love everything that Miami has done, how they've been able to increase their team and to expand their team and getting better. I thought they were very short on the front court, but they showed up some of those areas, and now they're finding themselves about to move on into the second round and possibly face a tough matchup there. Either probably at Philly. That's going to be a tough matchup for them. To be honest.
I'm interested, Strick, because like you said, this series is a wrap. This is done. I have my own doubts about Trae Young leading a franchise to the finals and winning a championship, but I want to focus a little bit more on Miami because I haven't even gotten your thoughts on this, and I'm assuming you and Bach have talked about it pretty extensively. Outside of the bubble with Miami, I know they're the 1 seed and all that, but are we completely confident they can win the Eastern Conference Finals? And not even that. I mean, there were a lot of questions about Jimmy Butler. Is he good enough to be the number 1 on a championship winning team? So, I mean, basically what it comes down to is how much stock are you taking into the bubble? Because they went to the finals, lost to a team that's not even in the playoffs this year. So I really don't know how to view the Miami Heat.
Yeah, the Miami Heat is really a weird type of situation, right? Because like you said, Jimmy Butler to me is not the type of player that is consistent enough to be able to hold the team down, especially in the playoffs, right? I think for a long playoff tier, I think he'll have games where he goes off. He has great games. He plays well. Looking at their numbers, there's other guys that's been able to step up for them, and that's why I think has made the difference. Obviously, the Kyle Lowry injury, he's playing almost 30 minutes a game. In the playoffs, has struggled a little bit. Right. But that's the thing that I've talked about. I think Bam Adebayo has stepped his game up a little bit. Has given himself just not necessarily a defensive guy now. He can give you a little bit, especially in transition. He runs like a little deer. But one of the surprises is Max Strus, who's coming on for them. You obviously know what Tyler Hero brings. But that's the balance that they have. But they go very deep. You get into Duncan Robinson, who can have nights where he goes off. Victor Oladipo is available, but he's a different type of an athlete there for them. And then Gabe Vincent's just a solid guy that comes in off the bench and just gives them, shooting almost 35% from 3. Not shooting well from 2, but that's really not what they want from him. Right. They want him to be able to knock down shots. They spread the court. They look to have Kyle Lowry and a lot of those guys to be able. And then I think the biggest addition to them also is PJ Tucker. I think PJ Tucker's addition gives them hardness. He gives them, you got Caleb Martin who can play some D, but PJ Tucker gives them just a hard-nosed guy that they didn't have. Yeah. Your thought?
I just don't know because, again, when I think about the Heat, the first thing that comes to mind is just how dominant, for lack of better words, they were in the bubble. And it's just completely different game. And last year, I know they ended up losing, I believe it was to the Bucks, and went on to win the NBA Finals. But I don't know why I just keep associating them with the bubble. Maybe it's just because they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. They won it. I think they were a 5 seed, went to the finals and all that. I just don't know. They're well-rounded. Victor Oladipo is a great addition, and sometimes at the trade deadline, that's what they say is the best trade you can make is just getting a guy back on your team that's healthy and get him healthy and ready to play. I don't know, man.
The bubble's different. Listen, it's so much different.
What do you think about the bubble? That's what I'm curious.
It's so much different to be able to sit in your room, walk down the hall, walk down the freaking whatever. The little playground areas and all that stuff to get to a gym to play. You don't have to travel. It's so much different going in even this difference. Playing in Miami, having to fly to Philadelphia. That in itself is still something that is draining on the body after you didn't played and still having to fly. You having to sleep in. Yes, you're sleeping in a hotel, but no, you're having to fly, get in a certain amount of time, sleep, and you got to maintain a certain amount of schedule and all of that. It's so much different than playing in the bubble. So I just don't think they're going to have enough to get it done. That's just my personal opinion.
Right.
But Philly, I think they're going to get it done. I expected them to lose one game. Toronto's not going to just give up the ghost. I expected them to get one of those games. They got it. And at this point, I think it's going to be a wrap now. They were able to do what they had to do in one of those games at home. Going back to Philly, I think it's going to be over. There's not really much to discuss on that one. Bad matchup for them. Philly falling to the 4th spot. That's probably one of the best places they could be, because then if they get through, they're going to match up with a Miami Heat team. And I think that's the best. They're not going to have to go through the Bucks. I think that was probably a good place for them to fall in order for them to move forward. Would you like to discuss anything on that? I think it's over.
I think it's over. Moving forward, I'm not sure if I'm buying James Harden. That's about what it comes down to. I just don't. I'm not buying Ben Simmons, and I'm not buying James Harden. So if you're the Sixers, until you can figure out your guard position,
Well, the key for that is Tyrese Maxey, and I think that's what's been the biggest, thing that they could have did in realizing that this kid is that guy, and they're letting him be that guy. Even deferring to him and. Taking James Harden off the ball at some instances because he's a ball pounder and he can get that thing stagnant. But they move very well. They get good in transition. And then just the expanded game of Joel Embiid, it makes it tough for any of them. This is the series. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this too then. So we'll probably bring this up. It's been a big factor in the Celtics and Nets. Defensively for James Harden, when it comes to the playoffs, how different is it? I mean, you played in the NBA playoffs. How different is the defensive intensity in the playoffs? Like, he gets exposed in the regular season, and then it seems like sometimes in the fourth quarter, you can't even have him on the court because he can't defend a chair.
That's it, man. The defensive intensity goes to a whole nother level. The scouting. So in the playoffs, it's all about adjustments because they're going to throw wrinkles at you. One game they're going under the screens or they're switching. Another game they're going to blitz it. And so it's all about how well you do adjustments. And as I lead into this next series, that's been the problem. I don't think Steve Nash is going to make it on this team. He has not been able to show, listen, I played with him. I love him. Hall of Famer, great player. But at the end of the day, he has not been able for me to show that he can make the adjustments to be able to help his star players to be more effective. Their assist numbers are way down. They're not moving the ball. It's becoming one-on-one, and you can't do that against a perennial defensive team because their help is going to be on point. Their recoveries are going to be on point. You have to have action that's going to be able to move the defense around and put them at a disadvantage in certain places, but they don't have much of a disadvantage. And so that's the problem that this is happening. I think this is sweep city.
Ooh, sweep. I think Brooklyn might get one. Let me ask you this then. So how much of this do you think it's Steve Nash? And then how much do you think it's Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons? Because we've heard plenty about their issues, whether it be on the court, off the court. Even Kevin Durant has had some of his issues before with the Twitter burner accounts, whatever have you. I mean, does that filter on the court? Because I just look at a situation like Ben Simmons. Sounds like he's out for game 4 too now. I mean, what is he doing? If you're a guy on the team like that, has to have some type of impact on the locker room, right?
Real salty. I'm real salty. And I kudos to Stephen A. Smith and all of them that are basically calling it out. You right now, to me, Ben Simmons is being a sucker. And your team needs you. You said you would be ready for game 4. And now you're sucker moving because the pressure is on. 3-0. I listen, I venture to guarantee if they would have won that game, he probably plays. Really? But he don't want the pressure. He don't want the smoke. And he's pulling a sucker move and leaving his team out to dry. No different than what James Harden did in the same manner. Right. I'm sorry for what Brooklyn has to go through, but listen, it's on their own doing. Kevin Durant in himself blew it when he left Golden State. Yeah. They probably could have been a dynasty. But I guess he wanted to try to get out of Robin mode and become Batman, and that Batman, that Batman experience has failed because Brooklyn is now about, I think, to get swept. That's
what do you do from here, right? Because, I mean, you're paying Kyrie Irving, you're paying Kevin Durant, you're kind of stuck with Ben Simmons, at least for the immediate future. You move Steve Nash. It's similar kind of what we've talked about the Lakers, too. It's like you're moving on from Frank Vogel. You're still stuck with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Like, you're stuck. The Nets are in a similar situation. There's not much you can do. And these other teams, too, do you really want to give up draft capital and young assets to get these guys that are aging on your team? Probably not.
I just think if he can't show, he's really being outcoached right now.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to say that you get rid of Steve Nash, but I think you have to have an assessment. You have to really break it down, because that's not going to change unless he changes, and he has to show the ability to make adjustments within the game. If not, then they got to make a decision. They got to say, is he the guy? Is he the guy that's going to help us to get there? And listen, the players play. They have to perform. But you have to also be able to put them in a position to be successful. And it looks like there's disarray. It looks like there's no continuity. It looks like they don't know where the ball is going, who's going where. Am I supposed to cut? Is this a pick and roll? It's like they just out there free flow playing, and they're turning the ball over like crazy. Kevin Durant right now is averaging 5 turnovers a game, only 5 assists. Same thing, Kyrie Irving, their assist numbers are down. Kyrie Irving should be up in the 8-9 range with assists, but they're playing one-on-one basketball against a perennial defense and help team. Can't get it done that way. You have to figure out something else, and they haven't been able to do it.
What does that say then about Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, who it sounded like in the offseason they kind of handpicked Steve Nash to be the coach, right? I mean, have you ever been in a situation where there's a superstar on the team, they request to have that coach, you get it, and it just doesn't work out?
I think that happens, and that came because of Kevin Durant's relationship that he had with Steve when he was coaching out there in Golden State. So that's what it's really about in some instances is relationships. But still, it's an important part. We'll get through the Eastern Conference and we'll take a break. Milwaukee, Chicago. I mean, listen, Chicago's been fighting. Just not enough. Missing ball has been big for them. Giannis, we didn't know what would happen with Middleton. They're getting great balance from a lot of their supporting role guys. And Giannis stepped up and filled up the void, and it gave him almost 35 points last night.
Yeah.
So
I mean, for them. I'm ready for the second round, Strick. I'll tell you that much.
I will say
second round is especially in the Eastern Conference, man. It's loaded. Anyone can win this.
Yeah. I mean, pulling off and getting 2 in Chicago is huge after taking a loss in Milwaukee. That was big for them. Going back to Milwaukee, have a chance to close it out. 3-1, could be 4-1 at the end of the day. Could be a wrap. We'll get to the Western Conference and try to get we'll bang through that pretty quickly. We'll get to the Western Conference right after this, right here on the block on 93.7 The Ticket FM.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Still rather breezy, but not quite as windy as yesterday. Northwest winds could still gust over 30. We'll see an afternoon high of 59. Mainly clear tonight, a low down to around 31. Warmer tomorrow, highs up to around 70. South winds will be back at it again, gusting over 25 to 30. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Join us at Cactus by Venue for our new America's Favorites menu. We're keeping your favorite dips and tacos and adding brand new dishes, including delicious steaks, burgers, pastas, and more. focusing on vibrant casual dining using a blend of fresh ingredients prepared from scratch. Located at 56 and Highway 2 in the Edgewood Shopping Center, see the whole menu online at cactusbyvenue.com and order yours to go at venuedelivered.com. Cactus by Venue, America's favorites.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams. From treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Storage Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 Highway 6 in Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers Great Plains Regional Auction on June 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Tune in every Monday morning throughout the summer at 6:45 a.m. for golf course reviews on the Nebraska Golf Passport Early Break Golf Tour with Jake Sorensen and Steve Sipple on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Naloxone is a drug used to safely reverse an opioid overdose and is now more readily available in Nebraska. I'm Dr. Rob Rhodes, a Nebraska family practice physician. I encourage you to learn how to respond to an opioid overdose and administer naloxone to potentially save a life by getting the free Opie Rescue app for your phone. Be Opie ready. Download Opie Rescue.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Husker fans, continue to support the Nebraska softball team during Fan Appreciation Weekend, May 6th through the 8th. The team hosts Indiana in a 3-game series with giveaways each day. On Friday, the first 500 fans receive a water bottle. Come out Saturday and be one of the first 500 fans to receive a blanket. And on Sunday, if you're one of the first 500 fans, you'll get a pint glass. Saturday's game is also Senior Day and is free admission for everyone. For more information, visit Huskers.com. Get your single game tickets now at Huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the block. We're going to finish up the Western Conference segment. We don't have much time. We're going to jump into it real quick. So what we have is basically the Phoenix Suns and the New Orleans Pelicans are now tied 2-2 after New Orleans beat them 118-103. And what we saw is Chris Paul fall apart, getting the weight, only scoring he had his lowest playoff total in the history of his career. And that was like 4 points. And so we see New Orleans, and what they did to them in this game was basically something that we could have expected with the loss of Booker. I mean, we talked about it on the block as well. That's not going to get any better. So unless Chris Paul steps up, they're pretty much in trouble.
Yeah, you said it, Strick, too. And last week I was defending Chris Paul, saying maybe this is the year he really figures it out. But it looks like without Devin Booker, I mean, it's just I think they get past the series. I don't know if the Pelicans have enough. I still don't really understand the Zion situation. And let me ask you about this, because I was talking about this with one of my buddies the other day. The Pelicans are saying they don't want to get Zion hurt. They want to keep him. Keep him for what? It's the playoff. Like maybe in the preseason or something like that. But you took the guy #1 overall pick. It's the playoffs. Yeah. Let him play. I mean, come on now.
There's not really much I can say to that other than the fact that I don't know what the heck they're doing, but That's the organization, and that's what they're saying. Hey, that's all we can do is stay with that. But again, the Western Conference has some games going on. There's 2-2 tie there. There's a 2-2 tie for Dallas and Utah. Tough one, tough loss. Utah was able to pull it out with one 1-point win, 102 in Game 4, 100-99. They will play again tonight back in Dallas. I wish I could have went to that game, but obviously I can't. I'm in Florida. But Jalen Brunson has been unstoppable.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic back.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes. Talk has been talking about getting rid of the big fella over at Utah, moving him on somewhere. We've been talking about that as well. We can't really dig into it right now tonight because also happening on Tuesday, Memphis and Minnesota are tied 2-2. Big win for Minnesota, getting a win there in Memphis. The big cat stepped up. Karl Anthony Towns went nuts, but Desmond Bane also went nuts, and then Josh struggled. So 4 for 13, only 11 points, but he did have 15 assists. So that series is moving along as well. Golden State, Jokic was able to get it done in one game, but it was a close one. We'll see how they fare on Wednesday night, Denver against Golden State. That series is 3-1. Do you think it's over?
Yeah, that one's over. Now that the Suns are kind of falling apart a little bit, I think they get through the Pelicans. I think the Warriors are the team to beat. Jordan Poole's a stud. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. Hey, the Splash Brothers are back, man. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen Klay Thompson healthy. Draymond's playing on the defensive end, and I think you probably liked it, Strick, in his press conference. He was like, some of these guys don't know how to play when it comes to playoffs because, I mean, it's a completely different game, and I know you can definitely speak on that. And with everything coming together, man, I would not be surprised to see them win the Western Conference.
I think the prospects of that has just went up tremendously. Obviously, we ran out of time, but we'll be back tomorrow on the block right here at 4 to 6 Central Standard Time. We thank you again for joining us on the block. We appreciate you in your support for us right here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We will see you tomorrow. I don't know when Jake will be. Jake Bachman, my partner, will be back.
Thursday?
Thursday?
Hey, listen, he left after Thirsty Thursday, and I'm pretty sure he's coming back for Thirsty Thursday. I don't think that's a coincidence. I'll say that.
Yeah. So again, follow us on all our Instagram profiles, all of that. We thank you again. We will see you again tomorrow right here on the block. 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Peace. We out.